Before Venom, there was an idea to give Spider-Man a new costume, which would be an all-black suit that was created by Reed Richards using unstable molecules, enhancing his stealth and sticking powers. This idea was created by a fan of Marvel by the name of Randy Schuler, who was paid $220 for the idea, about $600 today. Eventually, the idea would be shaped into a biological sentient suit that Spider-Man would gain after the Secret Wars storyline in Amazing Spider-Man number 252. A few comics later, in May of 1988, Venom would make his first full appearance. Eddie Brock combined with the suit due to his hatred towards Spider-Man and would name himself Venom after the sensationalist venomous articles that he was forced to write after being fired from the Daily Globe for announcing the wrong man as the Sin Eater. Venom would go on to be one of the most iconic villains of Spider-Man's already impressive road gallery. And that is who we are painting today. Venom has had many designs, the first being by Todd McFarlane. This was also the design I saw a lot growing up watching Spider-Man the animated series. The second most design I saw for the rest of my childhood was the Ultimate Spider-Man variant, which I took inspiration from for this miniature. I started with a mixture of Vallejo purple and black and got it to a shade I liked and dove in. This mini is from the Crisis Protocol board game. However, I created the tentacles using green stuff and bits of plastic that I broke into smaller, sharper pieces to resemble teeth. The brushes I used for most of this video were just Hobby Lobby bargain brushes. If you're just starting off and don't know whether to spend money on paint or brushes, I recommend miniature paints as I've never really had an issue with a cheap brush. Once you get comfortable, feel free to purchase nicer brushes. For me, I prefer army painter ones. I started off using a thinner brush, but I eventually just moved on to a bigger one in order to get the base coat on a lot more quicker. Instead of discussing a topic in this episode, I wanted to talk about the future of the painting series. I decided that for the next couple episodes, I will have some guests on to discuss topics with me. The one I have coming out next will have one of my best friends, Andres, and we'll be talking about depression. The format will be the same as the Cthulhu one, with the discussion and the painting going on separately. I'll only be doing these type of discussion videos when I'm painting a 3D printed figure or some other non-entirely game-related item, just in case some of my viewers only come to see the board game minis get painted. By doing this, I hope to create my own type of niche. I feel that the time-lapse mixed with the chill tunes is a good start, but why not throw some more seasoning in the mix to see if I can make it better. For the finer details such as his eyes, veins, and spider symbol, I use these magnifying glasses I got off Amazon. They're really helpful, but don't use them in front of your crush because you're gonna look like a big old goof. Here's where I pulled out the tiniest paintbrush I had to get started in the eyes as well as the symbol. I decided to go with layers on the eyes and the symbol on the front starting with a lightish purple and building up to white. The symbol on the back I just did straight white just to see if I could tell the difference. What I saw was the one with more layers looked a lot cleaner than the one on the back with just one layer. For the teeth, I just used Vallejo white. For the tongue, I went with Vallejo flat red, and then with the excess paint, I mixed it with white in order to get a pinkish color to highlight the tongue. The highlights on the rest of the body, I used a mix of Vallejo purple and black again, though this time not as dark. I also noticed I had missed some parts on my first run through with the base coat, so I just painted it over with the purple mix, because sometimes you just gotta improvise, adapt, and overcome, you know? Same with life. I'm working on the adapt part at the moment. How about you? then dry brushed the purple mixture because I wanted to get more of that color on the other parts of it. Once it dried, it had this black tint with a purple overtone, which is exactly what I was going for. For the tongue, I used gloss medium again, just like in the last video, just so I could have that shine to it afterwards. For the manhole, I used Vallejo Neutral Gray and Sky Gray for the sidewalk. I then dry brushed lead belcher onto the manhole cover and the grate behind it. I used Agrax Earthshade wash on all of it because I've never seen a clean city sidewalk, so here we are. After letting it dry, I dry brushed Sky Gray again on the sidewalk. Two criticisms I heard a lot were from the Facebook group for the Marvel Miniatures game I'm part of, where the symbol in his suit and his tongue. A lot of Venom purists were arguing that he shouldn't have a tongue in general, and the rest were commenting on the symbol in the front not being a full spider. I decided to keep the tongue because while true the tongue was not apparent in Todd McFarlane's design, it's very apparent on the Ultimate Spider-Man design, which is my favorite, and also what I'm basing the colors off of anyways. And secondly, my Venom already doesn't look like any specific design, and in the grand multiverse of Venoms, who says the symbol can look like this? Ultimately, the lesson here and what initially drew me into the hobby and made it fun for me is that you spend your hard-earned money on these minis and paints, so ultimately the only person you should be trying to make happy is yourself. You can do anything you want with these things, make it look any way you want. I love the tentacles on mine and the color I ended up with. If you're just starting off, ask for constructive comments and criticisms, but you should always draw the line on design choices, especially if you like it the way it came out. After all, it's going to be on your table or your shelf, not anybody else's.
by your side, watching flames raise into the night. They'll never burn as bright as you did, lighting up my life.